Hello all, Old Geek, and I've been looking at a number of magazines in recent weeks, Dragon magazines, early ones and early White Dwarf, and I thought I'd take a look this week at issue 1 of Carcass Crawler, which is the magazine that is produced online in PDF form for Old School Essentials. Now the reason why I want to have a look at this one is I've just started running Old School Essentials. I started playing in 1983 with basic D&D, quickly moved into AD&D. But the version of AD&D I ran, it was like a mixture of basic and AD&D. I used to use a lot of the AD&D options, spells, magic items, classes, races, all that sort of stuff. All the detail in the weapons, all that sort of thing. But I kept the simplicity of a lot of the combat mechanics from basic D&D. So very simple surprise, very simple initiative, very simple movement, those sort of things. So when I heard about OSE and that it had an AD&D hybrid variant, I was intrigued. And the more I heard about OSE in terms of its presentation and the feel of it, I really wanted to get hold of it. And I did. And I've run one session of it, a long session. I've read lots of chunks of it. And it's rare that I read an RPG and immediately think, yeah, I want to play it now. That was the case with OSE, because it touched those nostalgic nerves for me. I love Call of Cthulhu. I've said that many times. I've got various other RPGs on my shelf up there. There's MERP. I enjoy playing that. One Ring. I haven't really had a chance to play that yet. I'd like to. I've got a Conan RPG up there, which I'd like to give a go. But in terms of OSE, it took me back to my D&D from the 80s. And in that sense, I didn't just want to play it. I wanted to play it now. Right, so let's have a look at what Carcass Crawler has got in it. Old School Essentials, the retro adventure game. And I can see on the cover here, nice cover image, high quality, very evocative. So it's got new classes and races: the acolyte, Gargantua, goblin, Hephaeston, kineticist, and mage. Flexible D6 thief skills, black powder, firearms. I'm not optimistic already. Come on, let's give it a chance. Right, let's scroll down. Okay, there's the intro page with the various credits. Okay, so it's a 32-page magazine, including the license. Nice, big, easy-to-read text, and a little bit of artwork. Very old-school artwork, very simple. Not as good as the artwork in the OSE books, which are great. But it's fine. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the first issue of Carcass Crawler, the official Old School Essentials zine. I can already say I don't like the word zine. Magazine, fanzine, fine. Zine, no, not a fan. Each issue of Carcass Crawler is packed with new material for your games, including new character classes and races, new spells and magic items, new monsters, optional expanded rules, previews, blah. Yes, all sort of things you would expect. Okay. Content in Carcass Crawler is compatible with all flavours of Old School Essentials, classic fantasy and advanced fantasy. Yeah, as it should be. This article presents 6 brand new character classes for Old School Essentials games. Too many classes. The new classes presented in this article are entirely optional. Yes, of course, it's in a magazine. It has to be optional. Not everybody will get a magazine. Some groups love to have as many classes as possible, relishing the variety that a wide selection of character types offers. Reskinning will do that. Other groups prefer to stick to limited selection of character classes. As always, do what brings your group most enjoyment in your games. That is correct. I do prefer fewer. I prefer the core classes, and just you can simulate a barbarian, for example, by having a fighter with light armor and a big axe. You don't need special powers. One approach that works well is for the referee to select a limited set of classes, say between 7 and 10 in number, that are available in the campaign. That's absolutely fine. For example, in one campaign, the acolyte class may replace the cleric. Okay, that is fine. Yeah, that's all well and good. In this way, the number of choices available to players when creating characters is kept within reasonable bounds. Yes. Less is more. While the hand-picked set of classes can heavily reinforce the flavour of a specific campaign. Wholeheartedly agree. Right, let's have a look. Acolyte. This class is a result of a thought experiment. What would a priestly class look like if it was based on the percentile thief skills mechanic instead of the standard spell memorization mechanism? Yeah, what would it look like? Thus, the magic wielded by acolytes is not bound by memorization. Right, so they're ditching Vancian magic. Now, I'm going to say now, Vancian magic is a core part of D&D. To make it feel like D&D, Vancian magic has to be in there, as far as I'm concerned. Your mileage may vary, but I want to see that, because I think that having to memorize specific spells into specific slots that are then erased once cast makes the spell choice, it puts more in the hands of the player in terms of getting the spell choice right. It's all part of the preparation process, which I feel is largely diminished by having much more spell flexibility. Gargantua. The standard roster of old school essential demi-humans is profused with little people. Larger than human species are for the most part relegated to the monster listings. It's a Goliath, isn't it? It's a Goliath. Half dragon, or not half dragon, half giant, or something like that. Yeah, I know they had those in Dark Sun. Okay. Let's see how they're portrayed, though. Goblin. Classic monster species is now presented as a playable demi-human class. I'm currently playing in the Shadow of the Demon Lord game, in which we're playing goblins. The key is, we're all playing goblins. Thus, it affects the tone of the game, and the game has been adapted to the fact that we are all playing goblins. And if you're playing a classic D&D style game, yeah, I would allow an entire party of goblins getting up to mischief. I would not, however, allow goblins to adventure alongside elves, gnomes, and dwarfs, because they don't like each other. And I don't believe goblins can ever be good. There's always that little bit of breeding in them that, yeah, neutral, okay. I could see neutral being okay, but a good goblin fighting on the side of law, no. Anyway, let's see how they word it anyway. Hephaestus, inspired by popular science fiction spins on elves, telepathy and mind control. You lost me at sci-fi. Kineticist, inspired by the mystical warrior sects of popular sci-fi again. You lost me again. Mage, companion to the acolyte. This class is the result of a thought experiment. What would a wizardly class look like if based on the percentile? Right. Thus, the magic possessed by mages is not bound by spellbooks or memorization. The specific abilities of the class are heavily inspired by a certain wizard of great repute in J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings trilogy, Gandalf. It might just have rescued itself, because I'm willing to forgive a Gandalf clone, as long as it's handled okay. Due to the class's lack of flashy combat magic, it could be used as a wholesale replacement of the standard magic user class in low magic campaigns. Yeah, fine. Well, I'm intrigued to look at that one. I'm more optimistic about that one than I am of most of the other stuff. Okay, this is the acolyte. First thing I'm going to say, one thing that really drew me to OSE was the lovely, clean presentation. Here's one of the books. Hope it doesn't thud too much as I... And you can see the clean style of presentation, hopefully. Oh, that's a artwork. See there? And I do like the way that Carcass Crawler is done in exactly the same style. It's so easy to read. It's so easy to understand. There's no fluff, no nonsense. Look at that layout. Big, clean, simple, no waffle. Acolyte, requirements none, prime requisite wisdom, armor any, maximum... Yeah, it's a cleric. It's a cleric. Acolytes are adventurers who've sworn to serve a deity. It's a cleric. So as I was saying, it's a cleric with skills that are based on a percentage. Alright, they get the following skills with a range of 30 foot with a chance of success shown opposite. Okay, we'll have a look at it in a moment. So they can bless, detect magic, know alignment, purify, rally, counter magic of fear, turn undead. They can't use divine magic. But can cast clerical spells from scrolls. That's fine. That's fine. Must carry a holy symbol. Deity disfavor. Magical research. Using magic items. Yep, that's all pretty normal. Healing. From second level, an acolyte has the power to heal by touch. This may be used once per day per level of the acolyte and either cures 1d3 hit points or allows another save versus a negative effect, e.g. a curse or poison. Once per day per level and heals 1d3, so you're looking 4th level, can heal 4d3 a day. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And it can heal, cure poisons, remove curses, cure diseases, that sort of thing. Yeah, I can understand. I can see that. Or yeah, remove paralysis, flesh to stone, stone to flesh, rather. Maybe not. That's going a bit too far. Raise dead. That's going a bit too far as well. After reaching 9th level, they can build a stronghold. And there's the XP progression. It's identical to a cleric. Followers. So they can never raise dead. Okay. Rolling for skill checks. All skills are rolled on D%. Listing percentages. Pretty low. Pretty low. Then they jump quite a lot at second level. Okay, that is to simulate the fact that clerics in this version, this D&D simulation, only get spells from second level. That's absolutely fine. Look at that big jump on Bless, for example, 10 to 35, and then it evens out. That's yeah. And if you look, there's a big jump around level 5, 6, 7 for Purify, and the big jump for Rally is at level 2. Turning Undead is fairly even. Detect Magic, big jump at level 2. KA, no alignment, big jump again is at level. So most of the jumps are around level 2, but the Purification one, which is basically purifying rations and water, the big jump is later on. I'm guessing that's when the exploration tier really kicks in. So the idea being that wilderness adventures are more common, sort of levels 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's I'm fine with that. That skill progression is pretty good. The referee should roll for detect magic on the player's behalf, as the acolyte does not know whether the object being scanned is magical or not. Yes, correct. Well, that was better than I thought it would be. I do prefer Vancian magic, but that wasn't too bad because they got those progressions quite simple and sensible. But you've got to remember that they are doing it off those sort of skills often, which might make everything feel a little too magical. They become more of a Swiss Army knife during the adventure rather than having to make the choices beforehand. Right, this is a Gargantua. It's got a D10 hit dice, maximum level 10. Okay, this is Racer's class for this one. Um, they can wield any two-handed melee weapon, such as a battle axe with only one hand. Yeah, if they are big, because leverage comes into it. And I've had people argue before that, oh, my really strong fighter should be able to wield a two-handed sword with one hand. No, no, you've got to be big to counteract the leverage. It's not just strength. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Open door, extra chance to open doors. They're basic battering rams. They can throw rocks. Don't do much damage. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of half ogre, half giant type races, but there's nothing wrong with that one. I wouldn't have it in my campaign setting personally, because I like the simplicity of the classic races. Need a decent amount of XP to go up though. Oh, excellent saving throws. That's a bit more than a standard dwarf. Goblin, right? Okay, requires the okay dexterity, maximum level 8. That ties in a bit with halflings. Anything appropriate to size. Hit dice D6. Could argue a D4, but no, this is the racer's class bit. D6 is fine. I never picture goblins as being 3 to 3.5 foot. I always picture them about 4 foot. Goblins can be somewhat surly and resentful when interacting with other beings or even their own kin, like bugbears and hobgoblins. Here we go. These attitudes are only heightened by the fact that many goblins, though not all, are aligned with chaos. I would say that though not all might be a few neutrals at best. Goblins can use any type of armour. +2 bonus to armor class when being attacked by large opponents. That fits in with other races. Detect construction tricks. That's similar to what dwarves can do. Infravision. Good chance of moving silently, though I would argue that they should only be able to do that in leather armor. In fact, I would impose that. I don't think a goblin wearing goblin-sized plate mail should be able to move silently at all. Wolf affinity, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And a stronghold, that's okay. XP requirements are average. Saving throws are very good. I think they almost look slightly overpowered with that stealth ability, and I would make that stealth ability leather armor only. Hephaeston. Tall, thin demi-humans with angular features and pointed ears. Relatives of elves hailing from a distant land or even another world. Oh yeah, these are these sci-fi ones. Not interested. No, thank you. Not interested. No, thank you. What's that? Neuropressure. These Vulcans. Kineticist. Masters of mind over matter. Bardy. So they can do lots of telekinesis. Okay. Might be fun at low levels. I think they might get quite boring after a while. But I'm biased, because I'm not a fan of sci-fi. Interrupted by the neighbour putting the bins out very, very loudly. I think D6 is too many hit dice for a magic using type. Depends on what their powers are, and how powerful each of these are. But I'm not interested in using it. I'm not interested in reading it. It's too much of a nod to sci-fi for me. Right, the Mage. These have got D6 as well. Whatever happened to D4 classes? Ooh, they can use a prime requisite int and wisdom. They can use a short sword and a sword. Okay, yes, it's Gandalf. It's Gandalf. Mages cannot memorize spells, but can cast arcane spells from scrolls. Magical research using magic items. That's normal, yeah. Okay, mages can use staves and one-handed blades, but cannot wear armor. Healing. Okay, they can heal 1 hit point per level or allow another saving throw. That's similar to the acolyte. They get a +2 bonus to armor class from their... So like combat magicians with a bit of healing. Right, the skills based on like a thief skill type thing. Detect magic, open and close. So knock and hold portal, things like that. Rally, fear, reversible. Okay, so it can cause fear. Read magic, suggestion. Interesting. Mage's staff. Oh, Mage's staff counts as a magic weapon. Okay, mate. Okay, Mr. Mage, you can be the one who goes into the white, in front of the white. This is why they've given them a D6 hit points, because they're the ones who are the white fighters at low levels. Light from the staff. Oh, look at this big experience points requirements. Right, and slow Thacker improvement. Mediocre saves. Right. Okay, I can see. I can see now where the balance comes in. Scribe and scrolls. I can build a tower. Skill checks. That's the same with the detect magic for the acolyte. Detect magic, very high chance. That's a very high chance. Suggestion leaps up at later levels. Read magic goes up gradually. Rally goes up at mid levels. And OC, what was OC? Open and close just goes up steadily. They seem to be quite a powerful class, but with quite big level requirements to balance that out. I think I prefer the acolyte, to be honest. I know it's a nod to Gandalf, and Gandalf was great. But I think I prefer the way they've done the acolyte. Alright. Character creation procedure. Right, okay. Yeah. I see what they're doing. They're doing what they did with the advanced OSE, in that they're presenting the new races for people who don't use race as class. So it allows the Gargantua to be an assassin, a barbarian, a cleric, a fighter, or a thief. They're quite limited at in the more stealthy classes, and they will tone down some of the other abilities of the race as a result, which is pretty much what they've done with the others. That's fine. The Goblin, quite a range of classes available. Goblin magic user. Well, let's look at these ability modifiers. Gargantuans, big and stupid, -1 int, +1 strength. Yep. Goblins, +1 dex, -1 strength. Yep. Same sort of bump. They've removed the moving silently, the surprise bonus. Which they did that with some of the other races. I think halflings, because obviously they could pick a thief or an acrobat as their class, and the standard goblin is a fighter thief hybrid. But by the looks at the previous entry earlier in this magazine, I don't agree with them being magic users. Okay with the others. Hephaeston, don't care. Black powder firearms. Okay. Yeah, if you want to play something that's not medieval, fine. Absolutely fine. This article presents rules for introducing black powder firearms of the types used in early modern period of history. Early modern, okay. Very early guns were essentially handheld cannons. Yes, they were. The Chinese one. The Chinese had them. But this article skips ahead onto the musket-style guns from the 1400s onwards. Right. So what I am going to say is, if you were going to have a fight in the 1400s and you had a gun, you'd lose. It wasn't until the very late 1400s and early 1500s that handheld firearms had any real impact on a battlefield, and that was a mass battle with big lines of musketeers. They were still very inaccurate and very unreliable. So if you're using a handgun, I would say you're going to have to be playing something that's mimicking 1600s or later in order to be remotely accurate with a firearm. 1400s is far too early. And 1400s is about the level of D&D I like. So, big gunpowder bombards and cannons, yeah, they existed. Small handheld hand cannons, maybe. Muskets, no. No. Usage allows mages to use pistols. I'm so nonplussed by guns in D&D that I'm just going to keep skipping through. I just want to see what the costs and penalties are. They're not particularly expensive. Where's their damage? Heavy musket's very heavy. Oh, they've got matchlock, wheel lock, and flintlock for different eras. Okay. Are there any differences? Or the wheel lock are more expensive? To be honest, I don't know the differences. I don't know enough about them. Where's the damage? Oh, right, here we go. Here's the damage. Oh, you can use a blunderbuss as a club. Loud, yeah. Ah, there's a misfire thing. Right. Okay, I like loud. First time in an encounter a weapon with this quality is fired, the noise triggers a wandering monster check and causes animals, except those trained for battle, to take a morale check or flee. You can cause your own horse to run. Yeah, okay, not a war horse, but if you're on a riding horse, yeah, yep. Misfire, right. Unmodified attack rolls in a certain range can indicate a misfire occurs. The firearm must be fully cleaned. Is that all? Don't they blow back in the user's faces? Don't they explode? I don't know. Look, I'm not going to use guns in D&D. It is as simple as that. Cannon. If you want to build a castle, put some cannons on it. Yeah, fine. Optional rules. Combat talents. An optional rule for fighters. Groups who prefer fighters to have a little more mechanical complexity may allow cleaved. Oh. Right. This is a nod to people who've mainly played from 3rd edition onwards, clearly. The reason I want to play OSE is to go back to the clean nature of early D&D. I don't want any of this. Don't want feat type things. Don't mind a little bit of weapon specialization or weapon proficiency if a player really wants it, but these sort of gaining combat talents at various levels, no. That's not why I play OSE. It's not why I want to play OSE. I want to go back to that simplicity. I don't like 3rd edition. Don't like 4th edition. And I've fallen out with 5th edition. D6 thief skills. Oh, so you don't have to roll percentages. Why not? And they can assign expertise. That's a nod to second edition when they started being able to assign the points how they wanted. I don't mind that, because thieves have a very, very low chance of success anyway, especially at low levels where most adventuring takes place. I don't mind that at all. Really don't. Sorry, fighters. You can already use all the weapons and get lots of hit points and use all the armor. Thieves are stuck with low hit points and bad armor. I don't mind thieves specialising, a specialist pickpocket, a specialist locksmith, that sort of thing. And if you're running it all on a D6 for simplicity, not a problem. Not a problem. That's not too bad. Adjudicating thief skills just tells you, yeah, that's just a little bit of help for the guidelines for the DM or referee, as they want to call them here. That's fine. A bit of advice. Descriptive handling of traps. Yeah. Describe your actions. Poke your dagger in a lock. Pour water over a floor. Yeah. And apply modifiers if necessary. Fine. Absolutely fine. Repeating checks. Optional rule. Under standard rules, check to search for traps or secret doors. Remove treasure, traps, and open locks may only attempted once per character. The referee may allow repeated checks at the expense of time, one per attempt. No, not in... Look. Allow a repeated check if something changes. Okay? The way I prefer to look at it is, if you're in a dungeon constantly... you're not in ideal lighting conditions. You're constantly worried about what's going on around you. Is something going to creep up on you? You're under pressure. Yeah, that's when you make a check. And you can't repeat that check until something really changes. Gain a level. Or you take the thing you believe to be trapped, or the thing that is locked, out of the dungeon, and you take it to your home in good lighting with no pressure, and then I might even allow you automatic success because you're spending your time on it. No pressure. But gain a level, certainly give you another roll if you go back to it. Leave the dungeon, get your level, go back in. I'd allow you to try again in that circumstance because you've got better. But not repeated checks for it unless something specifically has changed. Yes. General advice. And there's the license. Okay. Right. That was edition 1 of Carcass Crawler. Bit of a mixed bag. I really, really, really do not like those sort of feat type things they've tried to add to the fighter. That's why I don't want to play some of the later editions of D&D. I'm meh about the new classes. I'd only allow goblins as a player race if it was an all-goblin campaign and they're up to mischief. Gargantuans, no. The two sci-fi classes and the sci-fi race, definite, no. The acolyte and the magician, they've got some promise. They've got some promise there. But the good thing is, this is all optional. And I will say now what I would like to have seen more of in this. Spells, magic items, monsters, scenarios, tips on dungeon design. That's what I want to see in a magazine. I'm not all... This very much seems to be geared at players. I'd rather see it geared more at DMs, giving DMs more material to work with. Yes, there's plenty in the books already, but I like new magic items, and I like interesting little dungeon ideas and trap ideas and things like that. That's what I want to see from a magazine. So, very average. Lovely layout. Love the layout. The layout's superb. Exactly like the books. But let's hope the other Carcass Crawlers 2 and 3 don't follow this same pattern too much, because Carcass Crawler 1 is desperately average. Well, I've been the Old Geek. Hope you've enjoyed this little read through. Like, subscribe if you liked it and you think I'm worth subscribing to. Come and join us on Discord if you want to come and play some OSE. We're playing it fortnightly on a Saturday in my Discord. I'll put a link to Discord when I post this video up. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.